The rain didn't fall gently that night up. It crashed down like the sky had finally given up. Before I even tell you who this story is about, pause for just a second. If you believe that one small act of kindness can change an entire life, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay with me until the very end, because what begins in the rain ends with an act that will stay with you long after the story is over. Ethan Walker had learned how to live quietly, not because he wanted to, but because life had taught him that loud dreams didn't always survive. At 36, he was a single father, raising his 8-year-old son Noah in a small apartment above a closed-down bakery. The smell of old yeast still clung to the walls, a reminder that even good things could disappear overnight. Ethan worked double shifts as a delivery driver, counting tips like they were lifelines. His wife had passed away 4 years earlier after a sudden illness, leaving behind hospital bills, unanswered questions, and a silence that never fully left their home. That evening, Ethan had just finished his last delivery. His jacket was thin, his shoes soaked, and his phone showed a balance that barely made it to the end of the week. All he wanted was to get home, make Noah some soup, and pretend for a few hours that everything was okay. Then he saw them. They were standing at the bus stop, if you could even call it that. Just a bent metal sign, swaying in the wind. A woman in a soaked military uniform stood rigid, her shoulders squared like she was holding herself together by discipline alone. Beside her was a little girl, no older than 6, shivering under a pink hoodie that had clearly seen better days. The child's sneakers were soaked through, and she clutched a stuffed rabbit missing one eye. Ethan slowed his car. He didn't know why. He didn't have extra money. He didn't have time. But something about the way the woman kept glancing down at her daughter, checking, reassuring, apologizing without words, it hit him straight in the chest. The bus stop schedule was ripped in half, the last bus having passed an hour ago. He pulled over. "Hey," he said, rolling down the window as rain splashed inside. "You two okay?" The woman hesitated. Pride and exhaustion wrestled across her face. "We're fine," she said automatically, then paused. "Actually, a broken bar number." The bus never came. The little girl looked up at Ethan with eyes too tired for her age. "I'm Ethan," he said gently. "I don't have much, but I can give you a ride, at least out of the rain." The woman studied him the way soldiers do, quick, careful, assessing danger. Finally, she nodded. "I'm Sergeant Maya Reynolds. This is my daughter, Lily." They got into the car, dripping rain onto worn seats. Lily hugged her rabbit tighter, whispering a shy thank you. As Ethan drove, silence filled the car, not awkward, just heavy. The kind that comes from people who've both lost something important. Maya explained quietly that she had just returned from deployment. Her housing paperwork had fallen apart at the last minute. Temporary shelter had turned into nothing. That bus stop was her last option for the night. Without thinking, Ethan said the words that would change everything. "You can stay with us, just tonight. It's not much, but it's warm." Maya's hands trembled as she clasped them together. "I can't, I know," Ethan interrupted softly. "But sometimes accepting help is braver than refusing it." That night, Noah gave up his bed without being asked. Lily smiled for the first time when she saw the glow-in-the-dark stars on his ceiling. Maya sat at the small kitchen table long after everyone slept, staring into a mug of cheap coffee like it held answers. Over the next few days, just one night turned into several. Ethan never asked questions. Maya never offered explanations. They existed together in a fragile bubble, shared meals, quiet mornings, and laughter that surprised them both when it happened. But life doesn't let fragile bubbles last forever. One afternoon, Ethan came home to find Maya packing her bag. Her face was set, military strong, but her eyes were glassy. "I found a temporary placement," she said. "It's far, but it's something." Noah clung to Lily. Lily cried silently. Ethan nodded, pretending this didn't feel like losing his wife all over again, watching someone walk out because circumstances demanded it. They left before sunset. Weeks passed. The apartment felt emptier than before. Ethan returned to his routine, telling himself that helping them had been enough. That was the point, right? Then came the knock. It was late. Rain again, softer this time. Ethan opened the door, expecting a number. Instead, 2 uniformed officers stood there. His heart stopped. Behind them was Maya, standing straighter than ever, and Lily, holding her rabbit. One officer spoke. "Mr. Walker, Sergeant Reynolds wanted us here as witnesses." Maya stepped forward, her voice steady but emotional. "That night you helped us," she said. "You didn't just give us shelter, you reminded me what home feels like. I was offered permanent housing through a veterans program, and I asked for one condition." Ethan swallowed. "What condition?" "That you come with us," she said softly. "There's room for all of us. I don't want to raise my daughter in survival mode, and I don't think you should either." Ethan felt his knees weaken. Noah appeared behind him, rubbing sleep from his eyes. Maya knelt down. "Would you like to live somewhere with a yard and a room just for you?" Noah nodded so hard his hair bounced. The officers smiled quietly, stepping back as if they already knew this ending. Months later, the rain felt different. It watered a small garden behind a modest house filled with laughter, healing, and second chances. Ethan still worked hard. Maya still served, but now, they did it together. So if you've ever wondered whether stopping in the rain matters or whether kindness really comes back around, remember this story. One knock can change everything. And if this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs hope today. Because sometimes, the smallest help becomes the strongest family.